businesses, most businesses, unless you're a criminal, and none of you in this room are, I can see you are seriously law-abiding citizens, but businesses have been set up to either solve a problem or to meet a need. And if you drill down, I'm bold enough to say it's either to solve an environmental or social problem or to meet an environmental or social need. And you can generally categorize that into it. So they're set up to achieve good purposes. And most businesses want to carry out their purposes without causing harm. So you've got this purpose of meeting a need or solving a problem, and you want to do it without causing harm. You want to do it really without causing harm to the environment. You want to do it without overusing, overspending natural resources. You want to do it without causing harm to people who might be impacted by your business. And for the most part, if you can, and I know it's not always possible, you want to do it with integrity, transparency, and accountability. So that's the E, S, and G. You know, you have a purpose, you don't want to cause harm. That's the E, S, and G. So for me, it's an integral part of business. It's an integral part of how you do business. And that's why, for me, the actions to manage environmental and social harm or to put in place the correct governance structures are all part of supporting that corporate purpose. And yes, there is a cost, but just as we will invest in a financial management system, just as we'll invest in laptops, just as we'll invest in infrastructure in order to carry out our corporate purpose, so it is we invest in systems and processes to make sure that we don't cause harm as we carry out our corporate purposes. The issue is, there is definitely a cost. The issue is what sort of cost? And this is where we look at ourselves as a business, we look at our resources, we look at what money we have, we look at what people we have, we look at how significant the environmental and social impacts we are causing are, and cut our coat to fit our size. Okay, so I'm sure a lot of you know the story about David and Goliath and Saul. Do you all know that story? Okay, so I like to use this analogy that, remember that when David was going to fight Goliath, Saul wanted to give him his armor and his sword. And David said, this is all, you're shaking your head, it's in the Bible. You haven't read your Bible. I could quote verse and passage. And David said, you know, this is too much for me. I'm going to take my sling and my stone, what I'm used to. And he went off and he still killed Goliath. And there's no way David could have killed Goliath wielding that. So I always say, if you are a David, wear your shepherd's clothing for ESG, because your impacts might not be, you're not a mining company, you know. With you guys, it's a little different because you might be insuring mining companies, so you've got more to do. But again, you need to look at your, you need to look at your coat. And I often say to people, trains, well, I don't know what the train service is like, but in England, you have first class and not first class. You're all going in the same place. Okay, some people can buy the first class ticket, they just sit ahead of the train. The food is a little bit better, and they get there. If all you can afford is your second class, buy your second class. We're all heading in the same direction. Some are fast trains, woof, they're there, and some are trains that jog along and they still get there. I think the point is where we're getting to. We want to make sure that we are meeting our present needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet our own. And that is the destination. So how we get there is important. So my answer to the question, no, I don't see a tension between financial performance and ESG, because for me, financial performance is the profitable performance of your corporate purpose, and ESG practices are to ensure that you do so without causing harm.